Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcast Network this Tuesday night. The Wounded Warrior Cup Series race is back in action here at the Monster Mile, signified by the giant concrete monster crushing a car outside. That's right, folks. Dover International Raceway is where we're at for 150 laps of Gen 6 race action here this evening. We are going to go live to the Star Spangled Banner, brought to you by Madison Rising, the most patriotic rock band out there today. You can find them on the web at madisonrising.com and on Facebook. Just look them up, facebook.com/Madison Rising. We'll be back right after this, and we've got some great race action up ahead, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to remain the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save this land of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the
Are you ready? Showtime. 1,
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcast Network this Tuesday night as we cover the Wounded Warrior Cup Series. Anarchy Motorsports Series back in action this Tuesday night here at Dover International Raceway, just 1 week before they go racing in their All-Star race, race number 14 of the season at Kentucky. Drivers are under qualifying right now, trying to put down their best 3 laps to see where they'll start the grid here tonight. Taking a look at the points coming in tonight, Dalton Baldwin still your series points leader with a Glenn Murphy Jr. behind him. Philip Neese, Chris Ostrander, Thomas Connedy. The top 5, Clay Dildine, Stuart Joyce, Mike Springer, Craig Embry, and John Ollis are your top 10 in points. What a race it was last week, folks. If you did tune in to catch that race at Kansas, was a great race indeed. A lot of the drivers came in confident that they had the track dialed in, but when it came time to the green flag, they definitely found out it to be a different track than in practice. It was a caution-filled night, but we were able to get out of there, and Stuart Joyce came away with the victory. Taking a look at the qualifying times, the number 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. still your fast qualifier as the 87 of Craig Embry in second, and Brian Bloom up there, top 3 in qualifying. Do appreciate you tuning in, folks. Taking a look out at our YouTube chat. We have a new driver out there on the grid tonight, AJ Brissett coming in. Next Gen Studios out there giving them a shout out as they're here to see their buddy race. Best of luck to you, AJ, and your new league here tonight. A great group of guys, folks. If you're interested in seeing what this league's about, you can find them on the web at amsleague.com. Or if you're an iRacing driver, just look them up in the directory if you're interested in joining the league. They do a Monday night truck series and a Wednesday night IndyCar series. If you're interested to see what we are about, you can find us on the web at forgebroadcasting.com or on Facebook at facebook.com/digitalforgebroadcasting. Be able to get all of our scheduled races and when they're going to take place. You can always hit subscribe out there on the YouTube channel so you'll stay in the know as to when we go live. Just a few more moments, folks, and we'll be done with qualifying. Just a few drivers. Looks like Mike Springer, still one of the last drivers now making his way down pit road. Cameron Hearn out there doing a little bit of testing, as well as Stuart Joyce and Thomas Conheady, the last out there on the field. Taking a look at their schedule, this is a 22 race season, folks. We're on race number 13. So you do the math, it lets you know how many more races we've got. Just about 9 more to go. All-Star race next week, and in a few weeks, starting on June 3rd, that's when the chase starts. The top 15 drivers in points will be taken into the chase. And that first race of the chase is going to be at Michigan. Things will begin to heat up here in about 3 to 4 weeks. And it looks like qualifying has come to a close. Drivers are making their way down to the grid. We'll be able to get you that action once they pull out there. See the drivers beginning to line up out there on the grid. Nice looking Civil War scheme there on Dalton Baldwin's car. This guy right here, Cameron Hearn, making his way back after being off a temporary leave. Drivers begin to make their way off the grid. You can see Craig Embry to the outside in second position. Illinois driver. Will be to the outside of that 48 car. It is Glenn Murphy Jr. sitting on the pole here tonight. The Chevrolet Lowe's, nice looking paint scheme there on that car. Randy Arms back there in fourth. Brian Bloom in third. Again, folks, this is your Wounded Warrior Cup Series. Race number 13 here at Dover International Raceway. Pace car into the pits. And we're ready for 150 laps as Glenn Murphy Jr. into turn number 4 is ready to go. The green flag flies and we're off to the race, and so is Murphy Jr. And Glenn Murphy Jr. clicking over into lap number 2 of the race. Still has Brian Bloom behind him, the number 4 of Dalton Baldwin, trying to make his way up into that second position slot, battling hard with Craig Embry through turn number 2. As they come down the back straightaway, you've got that number 8 of Randy Arms behind him, rounding out your top 5. Mike Springer back there in 6th position, looking behind that Mountain Dew number 8 car as they come out of turn number 4. As we take a look at the race leader down the backstretch towards turn number 3. He has got a 0.2 of a second lead over the 93 of Brian Bloom now. And Dalton Baldwin. Baldwin now up to second position. Bloom there in third. And our first caution flag flies of the night. And as we take a look, not really sure. See Lance Carpenter down in the pits. Let's go back and take a look at the replay on this guy. And there it is right there. So actually we're going to go back just a little bit further. So the number 16 of Lance Carpenter is who we're following, the Pepsi car here. Looks like he's having some trouble on the right side of that car. Michael Tan pushing a little high. And this is where we're going to see him get loose right there. And Lance Carpenter brings out the first caution here tonight across the start-finish line. Lap number 4. So the top 5 has shuffled around a little bit. Let's take a look at your bottom left hand of your screen. Glenn Murphy Jr., Dalton Baldwin, Brian Bloom, Craig Embry, and Randy Arms, your top 5. Pace car bringing them around. Race information for tonight, since we didn't have a chance to get to it before the race. So we'll bring it up there on your screen here at Dover International Raceway. It's a mile track, one of the last standing concrete tracks out there, folks. That's why they call it the Monster. Very bumpy, very rough, and it changes elevation around turn number 3. But it's one of the most funnest tracks that a driver will tell you out there. 83 degrees is in the air with 73% humidity, partly cloudy, and 109 degrees down there on the pavement. Very, very hot conditions can make for very dynamic racing, as we're going to probably see as the laps progress. Lights have come off that pace car. It will be Glenn Murphy Jr. taking us back green. Looks like Randy Arms is having a little bit of connection issues as he decides to teleport back to the track. And he goes back in time again, giving that DeLorean a run for its money back in the year 1955. So Dalton Baldwin will be to the outside of Glenn Murphy Jr. Oh, and Randy Arms comes back. Misjudged the talent, so he's going to go to the apron with some connection issues to save face and prevent the field from wrecking. Pace car now into the pits. We'll be back green on lap number 8, and there goes Glenn Murphy Jr., wasting no time, getting back to the race, and the green flag is in the air. And now Bloom looks to the inside of Baldwin as he runs that lower groove through turns 1 and 2. Will settle up behind the number 4 car before turn number 3. Bloom in that Ford Fusion, Baldwin in the Chevrolet, or excuse me, Toyota Camry coming out of turn number 4. Back in 4th position, the 87 there, that's Craig Embry, making his way into turn number 3, now has the 38 of Philip Neese right there behind him. And the pack battle back here around 6th position, as the number 7 of Thomas Connetti has the 22 of last week's winner. And that Bounty Quicker Picker-Upper Chevrolet, that's Stuart Joyce in that Leopard paint scheme coming out of turn number 2 to the inside of the number 7 car of Connetti, and will take it over with confidence. Stuart Joyce moves up to 6th position. Now Kevin Trzynski in that 12 Fago car looks to pass Connetti to the inside. He goes down. Greg Elliott in that Fram Camry. A little bit of dirt track race action there. Nice little slide action coming out of turn number 1. We'll keep it to that high side. Loose conditions already showing here tonight. Elliott back there in 9th position, has Trzynski now behind him. Cameron Hearn was able to pick up a position as he's now in 8th position. He's going to pick up another here as he looks to the inside of the 7 car of Thomas Connetti. So Cameron Hearn, the 67 car, moves up into 7th position here on lap number 12 and continues to climb towards the front as he now looks ahead to that 22 car of Stuart Joyce. Back up front, the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr., race leader. 12 total laps led for the 48 car. Nobody has been ahead of him yet. Number 4 of Dalton Baldwin right there behind him. Just about 0.4 of a second off as they work their way out of turn number 4 down the front stretch. And you've seen Dalton Baldwin even getting a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4. Brian Bloom in that Ford Fusion 93 car through turns 1 and 2, keeping it low. He'll fan it out towards the wall, avoiding that tunnel turn there. And for you race fans out there, or newly race fans I should say, you always would hear the term tunnel turn. And most people, if they don't race, they're not familiar with that race term. That is a tunnel, like as you're seeing, they're going through turn 2 here. So in that turn that they just went through, there's a tunnel that goes underneath the track to the infield. Thus, creates a bump action in that turn that a lot of drivers have a tough time dealing with. They have it at Charlotte as well off of turn number 1, or the entrance to turn number 1. And it can make for some interesting conditions. You see some damage there on the 38 of Philip Neese on that Ford Fusion coming out of turn number 2. Now has Cameron Hearn, who's just recently got around Joyce and is looking to move up in to the top 5 as he chases down that 38 of Philip Neese coming out of turn number 4. Looked a little bit loose there, but he rebounds quickly. Chasing down that 38 comes the 67 of Cameron Hearn. And he's going to try for a pass in turn 3. Looks to the inside. Will dive it down. Even a little bit of contact with the apron. Will get underneath the 38 of Philip Neese in one turn. So out of turn number 4, Cameron Hearn now makes his way up into the top 5. Craig Embry not too far ahead in the 87 car. Coming out of turn number 2, and that's Chevrolet down the back. All right, folks, I think we're back under action here tonight. Past couple days have had some issues with the internet in the Ohio area. Do apologize for the mishap here this evening, but we have the 93 of Brian Bloom to the inside of the number 4 of Dalton Baldwin. Cameron Hearn still finding his way back there in the field, but it is the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. in 3rd position, as Greg Elliott, the number 10 Fram Toyota Camry, will be rounding out your front 4. And it looks like Craig Embry rounds out your top 5. Again, this is the Wounded Warrior Cup Series Anarchy Motorsports Series League this Tuesday night. Pace car will be going into the pits. We'll be back green on lap number 42. There's the pace car. And And there goes Brian Bloom back to the green out of turn number 4. What a restart from the 93 car. And Dalton Baldwin now in front of the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. as they work their way through turn number 2. Craig Embry was able to pick up a spot. And it looks like Greg Elliott has fallen back to 6th position and has now regained the 5th. But here comes the 48 of Murphy Jr. to the inside of Brian Bloom, taking over 2nd, and Dalton Baldwin takes the race lead here on lap 43. Turn number 3 they go. You see the difference in groove as Dalton Baldwin just running the lowest part of that groove as possible. Murphy Jr. not quite as low as Baldwin as we watch him going into turns 1 and 2. See, they're having to keep a little bit higher through the first couple of turns, but as we see Dalton Baldwin coming down the back straightaway towards turn number 3, he's going to run as low as he can. And this time he actually proved me wrong just a little bit there in turn number 3. He ran a little higher. Possibly looking at Murphy Jr., who's trying to get up there. He's about 0.2 of a second behind the number 4 car as they work their way through turn number 2. Embry trying to hold off Bloom. Bloom took us back to the green and has fallen back to 4th position ever since and continues to fall off. Ran a little tight there in turns 3 and 4. And now the 10 of Greg Elliott, who started up in the front 4, currently in 5th position here on lap 46. Looks to gain on that 93 car. Good battle here as we're watching Stuart Joyce hold off Thomas Conheady. The 55 of A.J. Brissett, the newcomer to the league, and back there in 11th position out to the outside of Conheady. Oh, and he wanted to come down, but looks like Clay Dildine was there. Mike Springer behind Brissett as they go through turns 1 and 2. Nice little side-by-side action between Dildine and Brissett as they come out of turn number 2. Dildine was coming up the track. Brissett's going to continue to run the high line through 3 and 4. Doesn't look like he's losing too much off the pace, but he'll settle up behind Dildine. But Springer to the inside, and now Kevin Trzynski was going to look to the inside of Brissett. Go back up to the race lead and take a look. Dalton Baldwin still holding off the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. It's an interesting piece to show you here, folks. These two drivers, as they are number 1 and number 2 in the race and in the series points. So Dalton Baldwin, your series points leader. Glenn Murphy Jr. second in points. Caution flag comes out. And it looks like it's going to be the 12 of Kevin Trzynski. Go back and take a look at the replay and we'll have that action for you. Works at a little contact with the apron, has Chris Turtle Ostrander behind him. And right there it is. Going to get a little bit loose. Just coming out of turn number 4. We've seen a few other guys have this happen tonight. And rear end comes right around him. Kevin Trzynski bringing out the caution flag here at Dover. This is the Wounded Warrior Cup Series this Tuesday night, the Anarchy Motorsports Series League. Appreciate you tuning in and sticking with us, folks, after the technical difficulties, but I think we got her ironed out. We'll be good to go with some more race action ahead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this commercial break.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Oh boy, get ready for some noise. Gentlemen, start your engines.
AMSLeague.com is the premier iRacing league for action-packed racing from green to checkered. Prepare yourself to start every week right with the AMSLeague.com Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series, Tuesday nights at 9:20 Eastern Time, right here exclusively on the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. You will not find a better connected Oval League and community in the iRacing service. AMSLeague.com provides the highest level of competitive racing while holding true to our Have Fun First motto. Prepare yourself for the best Tuesday night oval racing on Sim Racing Earth at AMSLeague.com. Also, check out our Monday Night Truck Series and Wednesday IndyCar Series. And remember, you can watch all of our Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series races live, right here on the Digital Forge Racing Network. AMSLeague.com. A premier iRacing league with a great group of drivers.
Welcome back to Dover this Tuesday night. Lights off the pace car. We're going to be set to go green on lap number 54. Glenn Murphy Jr. tonight, still one of the guys out there, had a total of 24 laps led. Another 23 goes to that 4 car to the outside, Dalton Baldwin, and there goes the pace car. And Murphy Jr. yet again gets a great restart. Craig Embry into the wall. Is able to hold on to it. Cameron Hearn in the top 4 now. Brian Bloom just ahead of him. Number 9 of Tim Sandlin through turns 1 and 2, just ahead of the 32 of Mike Springer. The 38 of Philip Neese back in 8th. Oh, and John Ollis.
All right, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
Greg Elliott involved in that as well. I think Elliott was the initial cause. Let's go back and take a look. Treacherous turn number 2. So as we follow Elliott through the front stretch. Just right here in the back straightaway, you're going to see it happen here. Got a little nip off the apron, and that's going to get him loose, and right there it is. Greg Elliott's going to go down to the inside and just spin his way back up the track as the 50 car. Michael Tan goes by, and Kevin Trzynski nearly making contact, was able to get through that without any incident. And this doesn't look good. Straight down into him. Arca brake action there. It didn't even, I don't even know how that even worked. 16 car there of Lance Carpenter just kind of blended right through him, but there is the 14 of John Ollis in that Livewire car. John Joyce slamming on the brakes not to hit Ollis, and that Ford Fusion 66 Castrol GTX car will come to make a little bit of contact, and you're going to see that bend up really good there on the hood. Lot of issues here tonight. This is hot track conditions. Bringing out the cautions. This is the Wounded Warrior Cup Series, Anarchy Motorsports Series this Tuesday night, folks. We'll be back. Lights off the pace car here at Dover. Glenn Murphy Jr. still your race leader. It'll be Dalton Baldwin to the outside. Cameron Hearn to the outside of Brian Bloom as your front four. Pace car into the pits. And we're back under the race.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. Brian Bloom to the inside. A good side-by-side battle here between Baldwin and Bloom, and Cameron Hearn coming up to make it a trifecta battle into turn number 3. Bloom to the inside of Baldwin. And Bloom gets loose out of turn number 4. He's able to save it, but it costs him a couple positions as he falls back to 4th. That sends Baldwin and Hearn right around. And now Randy Arms back there. It's Ted Sandlin, back there in 5th position. And that Valvoline number 9 car looks to gain on the 93 of Brian Bloom. Springer on his way out of turn number 4 behind Sandlin. Good little side-by-side battle with Stuart Joyce and AJ Brissett. Now Randy Arms in that Mountain Dew car to the inside. The number 8 car of Randy Arms goes to the inside of AJ Brissett in turn number 3. Brissett been favoring that middle to high line through 3 and 4. And now Ostrander to the inside of it. Conheady also running that outside line. Back up to the front, taking a look. 1 second ahead of Cameron Hearn is the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. Cameron Hearn was able to get around Dalton Baldwin. A little bit of race statistics for you folks in your bottom left. There you have it. Out of the 63 laps completed here tonight, 6 lead changes, 3 total cautions. And there is Cameron Hearn's information. You can see he started 13th on the grid. He's up to 2nd position. So Bloom has really fallen off the pace here on lap 66. Sandlin closing that gap. I'm going to take you down for a ride with Mr. Brian Bloom inside to show you exactly what it like. And you can hear those tires working through these first turns. Here comes the tunnel turn we was talking about. You can just see that bump right there in the gyro cam. Hear how he has to get off that throttle, and he's working those tires. You see the marbles and track conditions up to the high side. Baldwin's going to get loose ahead of him. He dives it down in turn number 3, and you can really hear those tires working. And Baldwin to the inside of Murphy Jr. Murphy Jr. got loose. And it's Cameron Hearn, the 67 car, that takes over the race lead. Baldwin back there in 2nd with Murphy Jr. in 3rd. Philip Neese, who had some front-end damage on his car, has been pretty solid here in the top 10 tonight, currently running 7th position. This Mid-South driver started 7th on the grid and has been deadlocked in around that position. Good side-by-side battle back there with Clay Dildine and Craig Embry as they work their way in turn number 3. Embry to the inside of the 24 will take over the position. He moves up to the top 10 as Clay Dildine looking outside in 11th position to the high side of Embry. But it looks like that low line is winning out here tonight. John Joyce still having that damage on the front end after the last caution where Greg Elliott got loose. The contact between him and John Aliz. Still see some damage there on that 66 hood. Aliz was able to get in and get a fast repair on his car. Better condition there. Michael Tant, the 50. Napa Know-How Chevrolet working his way into turn number 3. Another car that was involved, but was able to get some repairs done. Back up at the race lead, the 67 of Cameron Hearn through turns 3 and 4. A lot of smoke coming from Thomas Conheady. Conheady having some major issues. See if we can go back and maybe capture what happened to him. Let's throw a replay camera up there for you. Got loose coming out of turn number 4, it looks like, and carrying that heavy damage all the way back down to pit road. The engine has blown. He's relying solely on momentum now to get him back down pit road. The onlookers watch the 7 car as he slowly chugs down the pit road, but I'm not sure he's going to have the momentum to get back to his pit box. So he will need a slight tow. At least 30 seconds of towing there for the 7 of Thomas Conheady. Look at the battle for second position is now Glenn Murphy Jr. to the inside of Dalton Baldwin. And if you tuned in last week at the Kansas race, folks, these two guys were battling like they were in the championship race. I mean, these guys were going at it, a lot of contact. It was some good old short track brawling going on there at Kansas. Tonight, things look to be more tame as both of these guys are battling a slippery track condition here in Dover. You can see, getting up to the high side now, the marbles and the wear up, the brown up there near the wall. As we watch go through turns 3 and 4, you're really going to notice it. See, it begins right there. You can see some brown. That's some of that dust and wear and marbles that really get up there. And if you get up to that high side, you're going to get loose, which is a lot of these guys get close to that wall. Sandelin and Springer battling towards turn number 3. Sandelin to the inside, Springer to the high side. Arms now to the inside of Nice as they go through turns 3 and 4. Springer takes over 5th position coming out of turn number 4. It is Sandelin in 6th. And Randy Arms and Philip Nice battle back there for 7th position. Arms to the lower groove is winning out and should have it coming out of turn number 2. Will continue to stay low. Looks like Randy Arms is going to move up into 6th position there. Philip Nice decides to go low. Tim Sandelin went high, and now Sandelin falls back to 8th position.
All right, man, caution is out.
Caution flag
is out.
comes out again tonight. This looks like it's going to be with Clay Dildine, who's down there on pit road trying to get something figured out. Let's go back and take a look at the replay on the 24 car. You hear that engine struggling on that Pepsi Max 24 down the back straightaway. Turn 3 is where he's going to get loose. And he's trying to make contact, and that's what is going to happen. So the pit entrance is very difficult. He's going to slide towards those barrels, and he's just going to get spun around and hit the inside wall in pit lane. Maybe not. So Dildine able to escape it. Let's go back and take a look yet again at another replay on it. We'll bring it to from the inside perspective. So this is a live look and I'm trying to get into the pits. This is one lap before. So we'll follow the 24 of Clay Dildine around the track. You can see the damage there on the right side of the car on the hood. Tires getting loose. Wow, that car is all over the place through turns 1 and 2. So he's probably going to get the call from the crew chief to come in to get some tires, and here he's going to try to slow down into the pits. And that apron is really tricky. And there it was. So Clay Dildine brings out the next caution. We'll be back out on the track, and there is your race leader, Glenn Murphy Jr. Just out ahead. I believe he was able to get out ahead of Cameron Hearn. See if we can get an interview with Mr. Cameron Hearn. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk to this guy and see what he's about here tonight. Definitely had to get some things worked out. The car's looking pretty solid. Cameron, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, tonight is a slippery track. Tell us a little bit about how your car's handling and about the battle you guys have been having up there at the front.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit loose on entry, tight coming off, but I feel like in the long run, my car's pretty fast. Glenn's been fast on that, and so is Dalton. I'm a little bit concerned starting on the outside. Hopefully I can duck back down on the restart, but it's nice to see some good long green flag runs, and hopefully it stays that way to the finish.
All right, is there anyone you want to give a shout out while we got you on the line?
Yeah, Peachtree Pools. I know I've ran their car a couple times. Always seem to have bad luck. Hopefully, gonna change that today. My mom and dad, and of course some Chevrolet horsepower.
All right. Well, best of luck to you in the laps to come, Cameron. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Cameron Hearn in that 67 car. Carolina driver has led 18 laps here tonight. Started 13th on the grid, folks. Lights to come off the pace car this time around. And they begin bunching up. So Dalton Baldwin will be to the inside of Brian Bloom. Cameron will be to the outside of Murphy Jr. We'll go back green on double eights. Lap number 88. If I was Cameron Hearn, I'd be watching this 48 car. He has been going fast. Has not changed up his restarts all night. As soon as that pace car is in, he's ready to go. So if I was that 67 car, I definitely would be looking to slam on that gas the minute that pace car's in, because you know Glenn Murphy Jr. is going to be going really fast. And a good takeoff here, so we'll see what happens. Pace car is set to go into the pits. And there it goes. Murphy Jr. to set the pace. There he goes. Out of turn number 4. Green flag's back in the air. It's lap number 88 and we're underway. Dalton Baldwin to the high side of Cameron Hearn through turns 1 and 2. What a good battle that is. Hearn's going to win that one and keep second position. Randy Arms now approaches the 93, and Baldwin got really loose. And Bloom, and Baldwin's loose again. Oh, he's into the wall. And Brian Bloom's going to be collected, and what a pile-up we have, ladies and gentlemen. In turn number 2, we have an official pick and pull session. If you need some Gen 6 car parts, Chevy, Ford, Toyota Camrys, you can come down off of turn number 2 and get your likes. Good gracious. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. So Baldwin's going to get loose here. We saw him get loose in coming out of turn number 4. He overcorrects up into the wall. Brian Bloom has nowhere to go. Randy Arms is going to squeak by. Craig Embry will get by. Mike Springer, oh, look at that, barely missed the 87 car. Philip Neese is going to come down to the apron and get lucky and miss it, but Springer's going to come down in front of Joyce. Sandelin's going to go into the side of Baldwin. Elliott into the side of Joyce. And Chris Ostrander into the side of Joyce. Boy, Stuart Joyce really getting picked on there. Well, I guess when you run a paint scheme of Bounty the quicker picker-upper, you pick up the rest of the field down on the apron. And take a look at the 9 of Tim Sandelin turtling there on the apron. Got his wheels up in the air. He's going to come around and get back to all fours. Kevin Trzynski as well is going to get caught up in the action. Michael Tant, AJ Brissett are able to take that high line and get around it. And look at that 93 of Brian Bloom. My goodness, that's a lot of damage down there on that car. We show you. Take a look at that damage. The caution flag comes out, folks. Race statistics in your bottom left. 5 total cautions here tonight. 8 lead changes, 90 laps in the books. Still plenty of race action to come at you. A little bit less than 60 laps. But when we come back, we'll have some more for you. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. Pace car down the back straightaway. The lights are off, and we got some heavy damage there on the number 10 car of Greg Elliott. I think his engine just blew. He'll be looking to possibly get into the pits. He's shutting the engine off, trying to get around the track. And look for that 10 car to head down pit road. There he goes. Murphy Jr. takes us back to the green. Cameron Hearn dives in underneath.
Green flag, green flag.
Back to the green flag here on lap number 94. Embry back there in third position. And folks, we are just getting word now that Dalton Baldwin has too much damage on that car to return, not able to get any repairs on it, so he has put it in the hauler for tonight. Or the pieces, I guess they could say. A lot of cars were damaged off of turn number 2 when the number 4 car got loose, overcorrected, went up into the wall. And you can see Cameron Hearn, a little looseness coming out of turn number 1. Murphy Jr. into turn number 3 now. Like taking a look back through the field. See there's some damage on that 14 car of John Hollis, but he's worked his way up to 10th position now. Ostrander and Trzynski, 2 other cars involved in that incident, are battling down the back straightaway. Springer is going to look to the inside of Dildine, and he'll take over 8th position here on lap 97. Following that 38 car of Philip Neese around the track. Currently in the top 5 slot. Loose out of turn number 4. Cameron Hearn a half a second behind the 48 car of Glenn Murphy Jr. as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Down the back straightaway they go to turn number 3. And Cameron Hearn has closed the gap to 2/10, almost 3/10 of a second behind the 48. And as they click over into the triple-digit lap, lap number 100, next time around we'll have 50 laps remaining. Everybody has begun to file out in a single file line. Not really seeing any side-by-side battle, but Michael Tant back there in 9th position is looking a little loose on entry to turn number 3. Continually running that middle groove through 1 and 2. Trzynski is able to get around the 93 car of Brian Bloom. Bloom also involved in the last caution. Stuart Joyce, folks, we are just getting word the 22 Bounty Quicker picker-upper has conceded the race. He had too much damage. They were working on it down there in the garage, but threw in the white towel just about a lap ago. Dildine's going to go down to the apron coming out of turn number 2, and that's going to send around Trzynski. So it looks like we have a total of about 15 cars on the track. And the battle up front still continues between the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. and the 67 of Cameron Hearn. And they are battling hard. Look at Hearn. A little fake out to the high side. And he gets Murphy Jr. loose. But look at that, folks. Look at that. Little contact there. Go back and take a look at the replay real quick on that. See, one lap before they were battling it out. You see, really, Cameron Hearn has closed the gap there. Take a look at the replay right here. Just a little bit of a netcode bump into the back of the 48 heading into turn number 1. Sent him down to the apron. Murphy Jr. impressively was able to save it. And that allowed the 67 of Hearn to get right around. So Murphy Jr. now a half a second behind the 67 of Hearn as they work their way into turn number 4. Craig Embry back there in third position has an approaching number 8 of Randy Arms, who got really high out of turn number 4, working his way into the marbles. 43 laps now remain in the race tonight. And Mike Springer out of turn number 4. Solid in 6th position. Chris Ostrander back there in 7th. Tim Sandelin behind him, but he's 3 laps down. Brian Bloom in the lucky dog slot there. Florida driver back there in 11th position goes to the inside of Sandelin. Next caution, if there is a caution, he will receive a wave around and get back out on the lead lap. Was caught up in the last caution in turn number 2. Got his car damaged, and due to getting it repaired, he ended up 1 lap down. 40 laps now remain. We'll be under that mark when this car right here, the 67 of Cameron Hearn, crosses the start-finish line. Another perspective here of what these guys are battling on the track. Out of turn number 4, down the front stretch. Mike Springer coming down the front stretch. Just see the gaps between some of these guys. Wow, and a really high push there from Chris Ostrander. Ostrander and Tan battling for, excuse me, not Tan, that is Brian Bloom, the 93 car to the inside. Ostrander on the lead lap, 7th position, has a lucky dog in front of him and a guy that's 3 laps behind him, Tim Sandelin, the number 9 car. Michael Tant, yeah, right here, the 50 Napa car, back there in 8th position. Trzynski not too far off the pace behind him there in 9th. John Ollis right there, still carrying that left front damage all race long. Still in the top 10. There's the information there on that guy. Started 20th here tonight, the Texas driver. Patient through the field. And is now 10 positions up. It's been that way for the last 20 laps for this guy. 35 laps now remain. Let's take you on board with the race leader. As we follow this Carolina driver. Back right behind him, Glenn Murphy Jr. just see, you can hear those tires really struggling for grip as they head into these turns. They're diving them so deep into these turns to maintain consistency, expending as much grip as possible on these cars. Randy Arms behind Craig Embry, the battle for third position. Now 30 laps remain in tonight's race. And Randy Arms still battling, and Craig Embry's going to get a little bit loose. And entrance to turn number 2. Philip Nice will be going to the inside now. Embry, 4th position, Nice in 5th. Up into the marbles. You can really see those marbles up there on the top of the track, the little black spots. Follow Philip Nice behind Craig Embry. Very dangerous spot to be running. As almost a lot of drivers will tell you, getting up in the marbles is like hitting ice.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
And Brian Bloom right there as we take a look off of pit road. Bloom is going to get loose out of turn number 4. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. Right there, you can see it. Just got loose. The rear end comes around. He's going to hit the inside wall, collect some damage there, and oh my goodness, is that car going to roll? It's going to roll. The 93 side over side. And Ford Fusion puts its nose to the sky. And comes the rest on the inside safer barrier just across the start-finish line. Caution flag flies. Show you the race statistics here. Out of the 125 completed, 9 lead changes, 6 total cautions here tonight, folks. Just under 25 laps remaining in this race. We come back, we'll have some more race action for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
AMSLeague.com is the premier iRacing league for action-packed racing from green to checkered. Prepare yourself to start every week right with the AMSLeague.com Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series, Tuesday nights at 9:20 Eastern Time, right here exclusively on the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. You will not find a better connected Oval League and community in the iRacing service. AMSLeague.com provides the highest level of competitive racing while holding true to our Have Fun First motto. Prepare yourself for the best Tuesday night oval racing on Sim Racing Earth at AMSLeague.com. Also, check out our Monday Night Truck Series and Wednesday IndyCar Series. And remember, you can watch all of our Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series races live, right here on the Digital Forge Racing Network. AMSLeague.com. A premier iRacing league with a great group of drivers.
Pace car into the pits, and there goes Cameron Hearn. We are back to the race, folks. 22 laps remaining tonight. 67 got a heck of a restart. Taking a little playbook from the 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. on that inside line. He gets out to a 3/10 second lead over Murphy Jr. as they head into turn number 3. It'll be 21 to go when they cross that start-finish line. Randy Arms now up to the top 3 slot, right in front of the 87 of Craig Embry as he works his way into turn number 1. And Embry, little apron contact. Little side-by-side race action back here with Chris Ostrander to the high side of the 32 of Mike Springer as they work their way through turn number 4. Coming out of 4, Springer will get around him as Ostrander may have had some contact with the wall, but he's trying to crossover move into turn number 1. Picks up some time there on the 32, closes that gap coming out of turn number 2. Chris Ostrander settles back in 7th position. Let's take a look back up at the race lead as Cameron Hearn now has under 20 laps. Well, I guess you could say 19 laps as he's gone through the first couple turns here. As an approaching 48 of Glenn Murphy Jr. as he dives it deep in turn number 3. Will continue to run that lower line before he fans it out coming out of turn number 4 to the wall. Murphy Jr. now still 0.3 of a second behind him in turn number 2. Randy Arms has gotten some daylight between him and Craig Embry as they're heading towards turn 3 in the lower part of the groove. Embry's going to run a little bit higher than Arms. Philip Neese, guy who we talked about earlier, started 7th here tonight. Was pretty much deadlocked around 7th all night long, is now in the top 5 here with 17 laps remaining. Take a look at this. I'll show you the back end, the gearbox view of Mike Springer's car, 32. Take a look at that gap. You can see the concrete track here, and look how rubbered up this track is through turns 1 and 2. Taking a look behind the inside of Springer's car. The California US Route 66 sign there on In-N-Out Burger. And the battle up front still continues between Cameron Hearn and Glenn Murphy Jr. Now, folks, if you watched early on in the race, I'd say probably about 20 laps ago, you would have seen the similar situation, only Cameron Hearn was behind Murphy Jr. And it was Cameron Hearn getting Murphy Jr. loose into the entrance of turn number 1. And that's what was able to give him the lead that he's had. Has a total now, as he crosses the start-finish line, of 51 laps led. Murphy Jr. has a total of 58 laps led. Trzynski and Dildine are the other two that have pretty much anyone else. And Dalton Baldwin had 23 laps led. And we have another caution coming out. And it looks like the 87 of Craig Embry. Heavy damage as smoke rolls out the tail of the car as he's going to take the apron around turn 3. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. Gets loose there in turns 1 and 2. Continues to slide. And right there, he's going to get loose enough. Philip Neese, excellent job in that Ford Fusion 38 to miss him. And wow, does he smack that inside wall. So Craig Embry out of turn number 2. Got really loose through the whole turn. Finally, the grip snapped and it sent him down to the inside wall. And he's going to have some heavy damage there on that car. So that's going to bring everybody down pit road. Just under 11 laps remain here tonight, folks. Going to take another short commercial break. When we come back, hopefully we'll have the conclusion of tonight's race. Still some race to come at you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Some noise. Gentlemen, start your engines.
AMSLeague.com is the premier iRacing league for action-packed racing from green to checkered. Prepare yourself to start every week right with the AMSLeague.com Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series, Tuesday nights at 9:20 Eastern Time, right here exclusively on the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. You will not find a better connected Oval League and community in the iRacing service. AMSLeague.com provides the highest level of competitive racing while holding true to our Have Fun First motto. Prepare yourself for the best Tuesday night oval racing on Sim Racing Earth at AMSLeague.com. Also, check out our Monday Night Truck Series and Wednesday IndyCar Series. And remember, you can watch all of our Wounded Warrior Project Cup Series races live, right here on the Digital Forge Racing Network. AMSLeague.com. A premier iRacing league with a great group of drivers.
Lights have come off the pace car, folks. We'll be back green on lap with 8 laps to go tonight. This is the Wounded Warrior Cup Series, Anarchy Motorsports Series. If you're interested in what this league's about, you can find them on the web at amsleague.com. Do appreciate you tuning in here to the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network this Tuesday night. Had a little bit of hiccup, but we are glad we got things recovered for you. Be able to capture the end of this race. Philip Neese will take us back green as the pace car is set to go in. There goes the pace car. And there goes Philip Neese. Into the wall. Oh my goodness. A little excitement from that 38 to take him back green. Was trying to throw a block. No yellow flags come out just yet. They get around. John Joyce has to get around real quick. And he'll do so. So no flag, yellow flag comes out amazingly after all that incident in the restart. Race control must have been asleep. So the 38 of Philip Neese will go to the apron to carry it around to get some damage. Here comes your race leader, Cameron Hearn, to the outside of John Joyce. And what a lead he has over Chris Ostrander. Interesting turn of events there. As now Hearn has almost a 6-second lead over the rest of the field. It'll be 5 to go when he crosses the start-finish line. Cameron Hearn down the back straightaway towards turn number 3. Show you the gearbox on the 67 car as he works his way out of turn number 4 down the front stretch. 4 laps now remain. Take a look behind him, folks. You're a race leader. That's a great sight to see. Pretty much your race to lose at this point. He is over a 6-second lead on the 73 of Chris Ostrander as he goes through turn number 4 down the front stretch. Now 3 laps remain for the 67 car as he goes to turn number 1. Murphy Jr. caught up in that incident there with Philip Neese. Mike Springer and Randy Arms still continue to battle for 3rd position as Ostrander, for the moment, seems to be holding on to 2nd just by a little bit, about almost 8/9 of a second over Randy Arms. Springer is going to look to the inside of that Mountain Dew number 8 car. Cameron Hearn through turn number 3. It'll be the white flag this time for the 67 car. Here he comes down the front stretch. White flags in the air. One more lap for Cameron Hearn. As he comes out of turn number 4 down the front stretch, checkered flag is in the air, and Cameron Hearn takes victory here at Dover. Ostrander out of turn number 4 will take 2nd, Springer in 3rd, Randy Arms falls to 4th. So Cameron Hearn picks up his 5th victory in the series. Last victory was a couple weeks ago at Talladega before his suspension. It was March 15th at Auto Club was where he had picked up his last victory. Back-to-back wins the week before it was at Phoenix. And his first win of the season coming at Atlanta. So picks up win number 5 in the series here on race number 13 at Dover International Raceway. And a little bit of a Polish victory lap there from that 67 car down the front stretch. You see him going around giving a salute to everybody. And Philip Neese, the congratulatory bump. Wow, he'll end up on the wall. And hopefully that was a congratulatory bump and not one of possible anger. With that said, folks, we are going to go now to our 3rd place finisher here tonight. Guy that had a good battle through the mid-pack of the field all night long was able to stick it out and come in 3rd here tonight. Tell us, Mike, what was your expectations coming into the Monster Mile?
Well, I like Dover, so I was looking forward to. I'm actually looking for the next few tracks, the road course, Pocono, but I just didn't know how the racing was going to be, and as you saw at the end, we were going for it, so I just stayed down low. I thought the caution came out, and I was just cruising for half a lap, and those guys started passing me, and then I woke up and went after it there with the 8.
And you're able to hold on to it, and what a good battle it was. I mean, you and Randy Arms battled out with about 5 to go. After coming back off that caution, you guys found yourselves side by side, and you were able to hold on and get around them. Was the lower groove seemed to be the line to work for you then?
Actually, all night I was running a little different than everybody. I entered a little higher and then try to, diamond the corner off, more of a road racing type of taking a churn. No, I just got through the center, but he had more damage than I did. I think he was probably involved in that. Like I said, I fell asleep. He got by me, and then it was time to go for those 5 laps. And yeah, he races hard, so that's it. I know he's not gonna mess up, and it's fun to race guys like that. So you try one way and then go another way, and yeah, the bottom line ended up working because I was able to squeeze up into him a little bit. But that's last lap. You gotta do what you gotta do. I like racing with these guys, so it's a good time. Thanks for broadcasting too.
Not a problem. Is there any shout out you want to give for your 3rd place finish tonight?
Yeah, what, my buddy Jared always watches, so hi to him. My girlfriend watches sometimes, my parents, my dad. Yeah, everybody that just kind of watches. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for the guys for joining and racing. We got a good group, about 25 guys now, and looking forward to the chase. I think that's 9 top 10s in a row for me, so I'm on a little streak here, trying to get into that chase and see if I can battle with those guys up front. Those guys are super fast.
Well, an excellent job done here. Mid-pack battle, one of the hardest places to race. And Mike Springer, you take third place here tonight at Dover. Losing my words at the end, but we look forward to seeing you next week at the All-Star Race heading into Kentucky.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I like Kentucky, so that should be fun. And like I said, thanks for doing this. I look forward to watching them after we run, so it's good times.
All right, well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week, Mike.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
There you have it, the 32 of Mike Springer, the In-N-Out Burger car, coming in 3rd position here tonight. And a guy that about a few races ago found himself on the roof with his wheels in the air. Good, solid fan base to put him back over at Martinsville. Chris, the Turtle Ostrander, comes in 2nd position here tonight. Heavily fought battle through this field. I mean, we had a lot of cautions here tonight. It was kind of expected being on the concrete track when it rubbers up, and the Monster definitely came out to play with the AMS League here tonight. And Chris, you find yourself 2nd position. How do you feel about where you finish?
I'm kind of lucky, obviously, from that last restart. I mean, I was trying to get a top 5 anyways. I just wanted to keep myself, my car clean, most of the race, so I wasn't pushing it too hard. You got to be in it, to finish the race. So, I mean, but then, yeah, that last restart, a caution didn't come out, and just going. Well, Phillips stayed out on old tires, and I know even with new tires, sometimes the restarts can be a little tricky, but on old tires, and we had a good green flag run there, and old tires, in my opinion, not the thing to do. But I'll take a 2nd place finish.
Next week we head into Kentucky for the All-Star Race, and what is your expectations there? I mean, you're coming off of a very treacherous concrete track here in Dover, but you're going into a very bumpy track in Kentucky.
I'm not sure how the setup there is. I do like flat tracks. Kentucky, I do like it. I might not finish good there a lot, but I do like racing there. So, my point is to win. There's no points involved, and it's win it or doesn't matter where you finish. So that's all I'm going to do is try to go out and win the thing.
A little bit more aggressive driving we'll probably see next week then.
For sure.
All right, Chris, well, you finished 2nd place here tonight. Is there any shout-out you'd like to give for your finish?
Good job on Cameron for the win. And like I said, I always like to thank all the drivers in AMS that show up and race every week, and I appreciate them and on how good they are and showing up and doing a good job. So that's about it.
All right, well, we'll see you next week at the All-Star Race in Kentucky, Chris.
Okay, take it easy, Dustin. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. 73 car of Chris, the Turtle Ostrander, coming in 2nd position here tonight, and a guy picking up his 5th victory in the series on race number 13 of this series. Wounded Warrior Cup Series, I should say. Cameron, heck of a job here tonight. You battled hard with Glenn Murphy Jr. all night, and it was a pivotal restart that you had the 38 car to your inside, and he saw you coming. It looked like he wanted to throw a block on you, and pretty much put a cog or wrench in the cogs in the whole field and held everybody else up, and that gave you a 6-second gap between you and second position. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, after all the bad luck I've had the past couple of weeks, I mean, I still don't even know how I made it through that. I don't know if you noticed, but on the restart, I tried to be right beside his door because I figured he would have quite a bit of tire spin. He actually went later than I thought he was, come off the straightaway. And I think I had it run going up high, and he went up, and at this track, there's very little grip. I think the temperature of the track was above 110 degrees, and as soon as he went up, his car shot sideways, and luckily I had such a good restart that I was able to go left instantly, and thankfully no one was there. So yeah, a little bit of luck involved, but I kind of hate it for Glenn. He was running fast always too. I figured past 5 or 6 laps should be a good battle between me and him.
Well, you pick up your 5th victory in the series. What a better time than right before the All-Star race next week. We go into Kentucky. No points on the line at that race. But, it's a little bit more difficult. One of the bumpier races that you'll find on the NASCAR circuit. What can we expect there from the 67, or a.k.a. the All-Star so far in this Wounded Warrior Cup Series?
Well, I mean, there's no points involved. I feel like I've secured my place in the points. A win gets you some bonus points into the championship. So, honestly, I'm going for the win. I'm gonna, race more aggressively. I feel like a lot of guys are. But Kentucky's a good track for me. It requires a lot of throttle control in the corners, as bumpy as it is. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know that Chris likes that track as well. I expect the usual suspects, Randy, Glenn, and all those guys, and Clay to be fast. And honestly, just looking for a win.
All right. Well, congratulations to you defeating the Monster here at the Monster Mile at Dover International Raceway tonight. It was a hard-fought 150 laps, not an easy feat by any means, but good pivotal restart on the last caution with about 5 laps to go. You were able to secure victory with a 6-second gap, and well done here tonight. Was there any shout-out you want to give for your victory tonight?
Yeah, it's nice to give Peachtree Pools and Spa their first win in the series on the car. I plan on running them the rest of the season. If you're around the CSRA, Augusta, South Carolina area, check them out. And they do pools, hot tubs, services. They also sell some nice furniture as well, so you can check them out. And also, Mother's Day was Sunday, so I wish my mom happy Mother's Day. Of course, my dad, he always watches these races when I run, and also my fiance, and AMS for putting on a good show. I feel like we got a great bunch of guys, and it says something about a league that can keep the car count in the 20s as the season progresses. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season has in store for us, and of course, thank you for the broadcast.
Not a problem, Cameron, and thank you for a great race here tonight. We were a pleasure to be able to watch it and cover it up here in the booth. So we'll see you next week heading into the All-Star race at Kentucky Motor Speedway.
Woo!
Well, there you have it, folks. Cameron Hearn taking his 5th victory here tonight by picking up the win here at Dover. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final race statistics for you. In the bottom left of your corner, the 150 laps completed, 12 lead changes, 7 total cautions. Hot day on the Monster Mile results into a lot of cars getting crunched up. And I tell you what, that Monster was definitely satisfied with all the cars getting crunched here tonight. Results as it stands, Cameron Hearn, the number 67 car, takes the victory. Chris Ostrander, Mike Springer, Randy Arms, Glenn Murphy Jr. will round out your top 5. Michael Tant, John Ollis, Craig Embry, John Joyce, Fred Scarfy, rounding out the top 10. Tim Sandlin, Philip Neese, Brian Bloom, Kevin Trzynski, Clay Dildine, Greg Elliott, Stuart Joyce, AJ Brissett, making his debut, will finish 18th. Dalton Baldwin, after a tough incident in turn number 2, will finish 19th tonight. Thomas Conheady rounds out 20. Lance Carpenter, the last car to make it on the field, will finish 21st. Nick Dykstra, David McMahon, Jay Zolciak, just here for autographs tonight. And Gary Sefton, one of the newer guys in the league, showed up for a photo shoot and will not field the grid here in Dover. Again, folks, coming up next week, the Anarchy Motorsports Series and their Wounded Warrior Cup Series is back in action at Kentucky Motor Speedway for a no-points, all-fun all-star race, so you definitely want to tune in to see that. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button out there on YouTube, so you'll stay in the know as to when we go live. You can always find our client list and our schedule on our website at forgebroadcasting.com. But that will do it for us here tonight. I'm Dustin Caldwell saying thanks for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network, and we'll see you next time. Good night.